Hi friends, today is Anzac Day, and what better way to commemorate our forefathers who fought valiantly for us than to film a smokey eye tutorial. This was actually part of one of the posts I made in the Altitude Wigram group. Ellen Ivy actually requested this. A smokey eye that doesn't look like you've been punched in the eye. I still think it kind of does, but that's okay. So I thought I'd try a different way of filming this week to try and cut down my filming time, just because I get a little bit caught up in the details sometimes, so hopefully this works. So stay tuned if you'd like to see how I did this thing. I'm using a couple of palettes. You don't need to use as many as I did. I used this Steeler palette, which is the Eyes of the Window shadow palette. I used a couple of colours from these different Naked palettes. But again, you don't need to have these things. I'm just going to give you vague references like a light sparkly colour and a dark sparkly colour and things like that. So stay tuned if you'd like to do this. If you do this, please do post or send me your photos of your version of this. Colours are optional. Have at. Anyway, I hope you all have a good day. Starting with a concealer and a eye primer is how I usually start with my smoky eye. You don't have to put a concealer on, but I find that if you clean up the area in your brow and maybe your eye a little bit, it makes your eyeshadow pop a little bit more. And a good eyeshadow primer, I use the Urban Decay the one on the wee purple bottle, just makes the pigment in your eyeshadows a lot more opaque. So it's a good way to start. If you don't have that stuff though, feel free not to, or even just prep yourself with a wee spray primer first. Then I like to go through with a kind of medium colour directly on my lid. So usually when I do a smoky eye, I'll use at least 3 colours. I'll use a really light one, which you haven't seen me put on, but I have put on to my upper brow a little bit. And then I'll use a more medium brownish colour. In this case it's more of an umber, and then I'll use a darker colour, so like a brown or a black, or even a mixture of the two. So you can see here though, I'm starting with the more medium brownish colour directly on my eyelids. I have super twitchy eyelids, so I have to battle that, but that's okay. I try not to go below the upper lid, because if you get too far out of your eyes, it can make your eyes look a bit droopy, drawing the weight of the eye downwards. So yeah, just pop it onto the immediate lid area. I don't try and go up into the crease at this point. So now I'm blending out with a bit of a more orangey colour. So this is what I would consider a lighter colour than the umber. And I'm blending it out. So I work in layers. I work a darker layer towards the eyelid of my eye, working up into a brighter colour. If you want to use a tissue or some tape to give yourself an edge, if you're worried about blending out too far. And remember, when in doubt, blend it out. If it doesn't look smooth, just add a bit more, which you'll see me do throughout this entire video until it looks smoother and smoother. And I'm sorry about the potato focus of my camera. I don't know why it wasn't working very well. Here you can see I'm bringing that umber colour up into the top outside, or the middle of the outside of my eye, so kind of where the orange is, but also the outside of it. This is to increase my crease depth a little bit. If you have got more creased eyes, you may not need to do this. If you don't have very creased eyes, you might need to do this more. You're going to have to adjust this based on the size of your eye. If you've got really small eyes, you won't want to make it as big. Like if you don't have a decent brow area, you won't be able to shadow as much as I have. If you have a big eye area or really protruding eyes, you've got a lot to work with there. So the best thing I can say is practice this and see how you go. You may need to adjust your technique based on your eye shape. You definitely will. I have to personally shadow one eye more than the other because my eyes are asymmetrical and one side of my face droops a little bit more than the other. And that's why you'll see me correcting throughout. I keep going back in with colours I've used earlier, and it's to help try and correct for that, or maybe I've put it on slightly unevenly due to the shape of my eyes being not the same. So it's you know, makeup's fun because you can go through and just fix stuff up later. And again, don't forget to blend everything up and out. If you're uncertain, if you think you've ever gone too far with your colour, take a cotton tip and just gently rub it across your eye to take some of the layer off. The fun thing about makeup is, you know, any mistakes you make, you can undo. I fully subscribe to practicing makeup when you don't need to. Like, you might think, oh no, I'm wasting products, but what you're gaining is experience, and that makes it easier when you're under pressure to get yourself ready and you want to look real good. So here I'm taking my darkest colour, in this case it's a black, and you may not have noticed, but I'm using all mattes at this point. It is fully possible to do a smoky eye with all matte colours. I've popped a tissue under my eye, the reason being I was getting a bit of fallout, and because I've already done my foundation, I was dropping it on top of the makeup already finished, so feel free to do that. So I like to take a pointier brush rather than the fluffier ones I've been working with earlier, and then I just kind of scrub it across my eye. I'm not very gentle to myself, I'm more gentle to clients, and then I take a fluffy brush and blend it out, and I will add more black towards the eyelash part of my eye to actually darken the black again, because you have to kind of work with the gradient you've got there, and I just try and blend it out till I'm happy with it. It's really important when you're at each stage to look at yourself in the mirror with both your eyes closed and eyes shut, so you might need to do one at a time, just because it's going to look very different when your eye is open versus shut, especially if you've got something like monolids or you don't have a lot of crease or something like that. So you can see here I'm going back in now with a bit more of a crease colour, and that's because I was looking in the mirror and my eyes weren't even. So working back is really good and important. Ideal. Working back in over your old work is important just for continuity through your makeup. Here I'm coming in underneath with that umber colour on my bottom lid. You will see I changed my mind about this a little bit later, but if you're just doing all mattes, then I would do this, and then I'd come along the outside of the eye with a little bit of black. If you have really small eyes, I really don't advise lining the entire bottom lid, because it will make your eyes look even smaller. I like to just do a little bit and blend it, and so I've taken the umber further, then I'm taking the black, and I just blend it out. If you work with sparkly colours, which I'll show you in a little bit, adding to this look, I generally place it in the middle because it makes the middle of the eye look a bit more poppy. And here you can see, as I said, I'm putting more black back in because I thought it had faded a little bit. You could easily use a pencil or even like a liquid eyeliner or something, place it on at the end. Make sure you just blend it though, because it's just going to look way better. And as you can see, always go through and touch up as you go if you need to with a cotton bud. It just makes life so much easier. Don't try and use your finger, because if you're like me, you'll have product all over them and spread things around. Cotton buds just give you way more precision. So I've brought a bit more orange here to the inner corner of my eye, just because I thought it would look a little bit nicer. You don't have to do that, it depends on your eye shape and what you're particularly looking for. For more drama though, in the evening I will tend to put more colour in. So here you can see what a smoky eye would look like if you stayed with just the mattes. You can keep it nice and basic, or you can continue on with putting a bit of sparkle in. Here you can see I am applying, and I would say this is a very light sparkly colour to my outer brow area. It's to make that area look big. I like to blend it in towards the inner corner of my eye, like you can see I've applied it. It just makes your eye pop a little bit, gives it a bit of contrast to the colour in your crease and on your lid. And I also like to place this colour on the inner points of my eye as well. It makes your eyes pop, and makes them look a lot bigger, which is fun. And again, when in doubt, blend it out. Make sure you blend out that lighter sparklier colour. I will often just use a highlight. My favourite are the balm highlights to use in that area, or my sleek ones. They're super shiny and make me really happy.
So here you can see I'm putting more of a, as I said previously, I'm putting a white shiny colour on the inside of my eyes to make them pop. And now I'm going into the Urban Decay Summer Heats look. I'm taking a shiny mid-tone, in this case it's like an orangey one from somewhere near the centre of the palette. And I'm taking a wee small brush to put this along the middle of my lower eye, and because it's a metallic it's going to give my eye more of a pop towards the centre, which I like. Blend it out. I will usually take a bit more black to work into this as well. And then I will also take a flatter brush to put the shiny on the middle of the top of my eye. If you want to make it really stand out, mix that shiny colour, so put a little primer on your brush first, or even a setting spray, and then get into your palette with the brush, and it makes the metallic really metallic. And then I'll pop it on, and I'll usually blend it out with a brush, or in this case my finger, whatever works best with the product you're using. And then you may want to go back and add more black back in along the lines of your eyes and the lower parts of your eyes, and possibly even go in and add more highlight in, which is what I've done here. Again, we're assessing what we're doing at every step we're going, working back in, touching up over top if we need to, and that's just to make the colours look more deep. Sorry this is not very good quality, but you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'll post photos on my Instagram as well, which are a bit of quality so you can see what's going on of the finished look. And I will usually just finish up at the end with a bit of an eyelash curl and mascara, and then if I like what I've done I will set it with setting spray, because you know, that's the good way to make things stay all day.
If you liked this tutorial, please give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more relevant content from me, mostly makeup, maybe some other things in the future, who knows. Enjoy the rest of your Anzac Day and have a good rest of your pandemic weeks. Bye!